Deniz Dalton from Helmsley Charitable Trust, who will be talking about our initiative in type 1 diabetes. So I turn it over to Deniz.
And I invite everybody to turn on your videos. I want to start with a little recall. Think about the last time you exercised. Maybe it was in the morning, you got up at 7 o'clock, got a cup of coffee, and you wanted to get a 45-minute run in the park before your workday starts at 9 or kids wake up. And it's great. You got your run in and had a very healthy, good start to your day. Now imagine you're a person living with type 1 diabetes. You also enjoy a morning run. You got up at 7, got a cup of coffee, and right before you go out the door, you check out your glucose from your continuous glucose monitor. And you realize on that day, it's 70 milligram per deciliter, and it's going down. That means going out for a run without treating your glucose can be dangerous. You could go unconscious in the middle of your run. So you drink juice, wait 15 minutes to see its impact on your glucose. You look at your glucose meter. Then if it's not higher, you repeat the course again. Maybe you eat a glucose tablet or a power bar until your glucose is 100 milligram per deciliter. Going steady, you are not able to go out for a run. And by the time you're able to manage your diabetes and the time that you had for the run, you probably can't go for a run anymore because it's your work day or your kids woke up. This is not an unusual scenario for people with type 1 diabetes. They have to use trial and error method each time they exercise with this condition, because exercise also can impact glucose levels up or down. You could go hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia, depending on the time, the intensity of the exercise, or the type of the exercise. All this trial and error method should not fall on the shoulders of people living with type 1 diabetes. It's not just unfair, it's unsafe. That's why Helmsley embarked on type 1 diabetes exercise initiative, and that's what brings me here today to this meeting. I'm Deniz Dalton. I'm a program officer at Helmsley Charitable Trust, and we're ready to pull up my slides. Thank you. And I think I'm able to control them. Helmsley's mission is helping people live better lives, no matter where they call home. And Helmsley has 6 programs, and one of the 6 programs is type 1 diabetes. And type 1 diabetes program's mission is changing the trajectory of type 1 diabetes and improving the lives of people living with this condition. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where pancreas doesn't produce insulin. So you have to give yourself insulin throughout the day, every day, for the rest of your life. There is no cure for type 1 diabetes, but people use a lot of tools to help manage this condition. For example, continuous glucose monitors or insulin pumps or automated insulin delivery systems, also known as artificial pancreas systems. But no tool is perfect. Going back to my opening story, exercise is one of the activities that people with type 1 diabetes have to manage in addition to meals, stress, sleep. It is not an easy condition, and people are asked by their providers to exercise 150 minutes a week to lead a healthy life. But clinical guidelines are all based on smaller studies that are in controlled environments. And with T1-DEXA data, we hope to change that paradigm. T1-DEXA data is an observational trial data that actually reflects the real world conditions for people living with type 1 diabetes and exercising in real world. T1-DEXA data is at Vivli to be used in new ways, leading to new discoveries. Next slide. Helmsley embarked on this initiative about 6 years ago. And with Jabe, who is the owner of this data set, and with a number of type 1 diabetes experts. And in the past 6 years, there was a lot of planning, piloting, and collecting real-world data from 500 adults living with type 1 diabetes and 250 pediatric people with type 1 diabetes. This is a very unique and one-of-a-kind data set because, one, it's a large data set, and it is observational. It is real-world conditions. So just to give you a sense of the data, how large it could be, is continuous glucose monitors report data from your glucose every 5 minutes. And 500 adults wore this device 24/7 for a month. So you can imagine those glucose data sets in that month. And in addition to insulin, heart rate, activity, and sleep and stress information, as well as genetics. Another aspect of this data set that makes it so unique, Jabe has gone to the entire United States via social media to recruit for this study. Uniquely, we did not recruit from type 1 diabetes or diabetes clinics. The study participants came from all across the United States. And third, this study actually was conducted during the global pandemic. Serendipitously, the Jabe team had planned and prepared a study protocol that could be led during the middle of a global pandemic where no one can go to a care setting or a clinic setting. All the tools, all the devices were shipped home. All the clinical interviews were done via video, and all the data was collected observationally. And the videos, the exercise videos that people were asked to perform were validated home exercises, aerobic, high intensity interval, and resistance, for us to be able to see the different responses of glucose for different types of exercise. I know you're all here because you care about data. You believe in the power of data. Type 1 diabetes is a chronic condition that is managed by data and insulin. That's why this is such a big opportunity for the attendees of this call, for the audience of this data set, to give the data set new lives and for it to live beyond the Jabes and the Helmsleys and the type 1 diabetes experts that has laid eyes on this data. T1D-DEXA data set is at Vivli to be able to use in new ways, to leading to new discoveries. Helmsley chose Vivli as its data sharing platform because Vivli's mission of advancing science via clinical trial data aligns with Helmsley's data sharing vision, which is making the most out of our participants' contributions. And in this case, it's literally blood and sweat of people living with type 1 diabetes. Previous panelists also talked about the FAIR and the trust and the data standards and the importance of using them. I cannot applaud the Jabe team's efforts in mapping this observational trial data to CDISC standards as part of this effort so that this data set can be interoperable, can be combined with other data sets that has the data standards in order to get new insights and new eyes and innovation to this field. Another reason why the Vivli platform was so attractive for Helmsley to post this data, because we want this data to go beyond the type 1 diabetes experts. We need a lot of type 1 diabetes experts to look at this data, but we also need data scientists. We also need algorithm makers We also need decision support systems. That's why it is so important that this data set goes beyond our borders. And in addition to making this data set publicly available, Helmsley took one more step to launch a unique RFP. Next slide, please. The reason why this is a unique RFP, because we are asking the researchers not just to publish from existing data, but to go one step above that. We're asking researchers to look at the observational trial data, T1D DEXA data, identify the real-world gaps and problems, find solutions, and then test those solutions with people with type 1 diabetes. This is also a unique RFP because of the timing. As Rebecca mentioned, we made this data available in September recently, and we are asking for concepts in April 2023. And then we hope to make decisions July 2023 and hope to give out the awards in the fall of 2023. We hope that this will allow the researchers to get access to the data, to explore the data, and really identify what problem that they're solving for, and develop the solutions together, as well as then testing the solution. It took 6 years to get here to this point, and we expect that it's going to take another 3 to 6 years to get to solutions. But this is the time to invest in interventions, because 6 years ago, we knew that we didn't have the right data and the real world data to base our solutions on. And now we do. Remember the trial and error method that people with type 1 diabetes use to manage exercise with this condition? We tried to take the trial part out of that, and we hope that the researchers will help us take the error part, and we can lead the solutions so that people with type 1 diabetes can exercise routinely and safely. The reason we posted type 1 diabetes DEXA data to Vivli is so that it can be used in new ways, leading to new discoveries. I encourage all members of this call to share the word that this T1 DEXA data is at Vivli, and it is available for public researchers, and it is available for also, if you're interested in RFPs, that would be a great opportunity to spread the word. I also ask the pharma members on the call to use this data to improve existing technologies, devices, and therapies. And I also ask whomever is interested in solving real-world problems, T1 DEXA is an opportunity, because we're all here to solve problems, big problems. And I hope that you see this RFP and the public data set as an opportunity to make a difference and make an impact. I want to close with a quote that we're all inspired by Bill Gates. Power comes not from knowledge kept, but from knowledge shared. Let's share the power. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deniz.